Our clerk will get us, we'll begin and then we'll go from there.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the special Board of Trustees meeting Thursday, March 21st, 2024. And I'm going to call the roll. Trustee Norwood?
Present.
Trustee Stan Brown is absent. Trustee Tammy Brown?
Present.
Trustee House?
Present.
Trustee Holmes is absent. Trustee Belcher?
Here.
Mayor Henyard is absent. So we have a quorum. And you want to do the project? Okay. I'd like to have a motion put on the table to announce, appoint Trustee Jason House as Mayor Pro Tem.
Second. I'd like to appoint Trustee Jason House as Mayor Pro Tem. Second.
Okay. For motion and second. Trustee Norwood?
Present.
Trustee Stan Brown is absent again. Trustee Tammy Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes is absent, and Trustee Belcher.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, thanks everybody. We're gonna go, I'm gonna pause for just a moment so we can finish getting dressed. Okay, that's yours.
I forgot to call the meeting to order at 6:34 p.m.
Thank you. So I will ask if we can have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'm going to ask my good friend, former trustee Valeria Stubbs, if you would lead us in prayer, please.
Good evening, everyone. Can you please bow your head? Heavenly Father, I come to you in the name of Jesus just to praise your name another day. And thank you for your mercy and your grace that you have stored upon us, Father. I ask that you give us traveling grace and mercy as we go on our day-by-day journey, Father. I ask that you bless everybody in this room and give us prosperity in every aspect of our lives. I ask in Jesus' name that this meeting goes smoothly, Lord, and I ask that you heal this land, Father, in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Okay, so I want to thank you. We're going to make just a few acknowledgments for myself and general announcements, and then I'll yield for board members. I do want to note that this meeting was properly called by 3 trustees, being Trustee Kiana Belcher, Trustee Brittany Norwood, and myself, which is the requirement. Meeting notice was posted on Tuesday, March 19th, approximately 3 p.m., exceeding the 48-hour requirement. All members of the board, the mayor, all 6 trustees have received this packet and notification and have been invited to attend this meeting. And those who have appeared are present, and those who elected not to come are not present. But this is a rightfully called meeting, so I want to make sure we just have that notated for the record. Separately, this meeting is important. This is our committee of the whole meeting. And every month we are scheduled to have 2 board meetings. Actually, it should be the first and third Monday of every month. And what has been happening for the past months is that no agenda is being posted by the administration or the mayor's office for the third meeting, which is the committee of the whole meeting. And that the board majority president feel that meeting is important because this is the meeting where we should be able to put things on an agenda, discuss items that we are trying to do to initiate and push the village forward, and have it as an open discussion. No vote on any of the any tangible items. That way the community gets an idea of the board's thinking, the direction. We get to hear from the residents on citizens' address. And after hearing from you, we get 2 weeks to kind of digest and see, do we still want to try to push something forward? So we're trying to create normalcy even throughout challenging times. So that is the purpose and the call for this meeting. So as you'll notice, there's one thing that we will be voting, which are the meeting minutes. That is because as the clerk presents them to the mayor's office, they refuse to put them on the agenda. So we will be voting on meeting minutes. After that, all items are discussion only. So that way we can openly discuss items that the board might intend to do for the community and get feedback from residents. So having said that, I will yield the floor to any fellow colleague that has a comment at this time.
Good evening, everyone. I just would like to give information for Earth Day, which is April 22nd, 2024. Senator Napoleon Harris will be doing Earth Day recycling and shred event. It will be at the South Suburban College. Yeah, South Suburban College. So if anybody has any items that they need shredded or any old electronics or medicine, April 22nd, you'll be able to take those items there for Earth Day. That's it.
Good evening, everyone. Tea with the Trustees is April the 13th, 9:30 in this Lester Long Fieldhouse. It's an awesome time for us to get together and discuss what's actually needed in our village. Again, when we attend the board meetings, you might have comments or some things going on in your neighborhood and you want to seek help or get an answer. We're not able to do that at the regular board meeting. So you can do that here at Tea with the Trustees. So definitely April the 13th, bring out your concerns, your ideas, some things you want to see that the trustees can do along with the residents to move this village forward. So please come out April the 13th, 9:30 a.m. is Tea with the Trustees, and we plan to see everyone here tonight out that second Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I am happy to announce our third annual Family Skate Night. So I would like to see you all there. It's free for all Dolton residents. We will be having it at our Linwood skating rink right there in Linwood. This is our third time doing this, so I am pretty excited. It's free with registration, so if anyone would love to come, we would love to have you. If you could register by giving me a phone call at 708-968-4297 or emailing me at bnorwood@villageofdolton.org to get registered. It will be on Friday, June 7th from 5:30 to 8:30. I cannot wait to see you all there. And you all know, a family that skates together stays together.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is the village clerk's report, so I'll yield the floor.
Thank you, Trustee House. As Trustee House mentioned earlier, I normally submit my minutes at the regular scheduled board meeting. I do submit them in time to go on the agenda, but they're never placed on the agenda, so I usually have to wait for this meeting to have my minutes approved. So I'm going to ask the board tonight to approve my minutes as follow. Regular board meeting, Monday, February the 5th, 2024, and the special board meeting that was held on Thursday, February the 22nd, 2024.
So I'll motion to approve regular board meeting minutes for February 5th, 2024 and February 22nd, 2024.
Second.
Okay, hearing a motion and a second, any discussion? No discussion, clerk, can you please roll call?
Sure. Trustee Norwood?
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown? Aye. Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Belcher?
Aye.
The motion passed to approve my minutes. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda for me is communication. And I have some individuals here from the Rain Ready program. This program has been discussed in Dolton since 2017, and funding is finally available to try to move this program forward. But unfortunately, they've been to several board meetings to present to the mayor, and no one has followed up with them. But because of our infrastructure here, I think this is a very much needed program in Dolton, and whatever we can get as far as funding or what have you to help us with our infrastructure issue, I think we should just grab it immediately. So I'm going to ask Brandon Evans and Siobhan Scott to come up and talk about Rain Ready.
Good evening, President Trustees, Clerk, citizens of Dolton. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. As Clerk mentioned, my name is Brandon Evans. I'm the Outreach and Engagement Manager for the Center for Neighborhood Technology. This is my director, Ms. Shavion Scott. And I won't be before you long. Wanted to present and give some information on a program, again, that is called Rain Ready. Just to give some high-level background, Rain Ready was an initiative of C&T with plans that were developed somewhere between 2010, 2011, with plans that were accepted in 2017. As mentioned, unfortunately, there was no funding to actually implement the plans. The plans were to set up green infrastructure to remediate flooding within the community. As you guys know, the topography within the Chicagoland area lends to flooding throughout, in addition to our old infrastructure and climate change effects. So for the past 8 months, I've been meeting with a group of residents in a resident-led steering committee. A few of them are here today. And we have been discussing potential plans to install. The funds to actually implement the plans at this stage come via ARPA dollars. So we've got $6 million spread across the 6 communities in the Southland. I know that that's not a lot, but it is money that is already in play, and we would not be asking the community for a dollar. And we will be looking to implement these plans in the next 2 years, as there is a time limit that we're against. If you would like, I can go through some of the items within the program. All right, so as you guys can see, there's high-level information on the first page that talks about what Rain Ready Dolton would be. So ideally, it will be a community where all residents and businesses benefit from flood relief in a way that also brings neighborhood beautification, retail activity, new jobs, recreation, habitat conservation, and again, in the community, public investment is transparent and fair. That is kind of the ideal space we're working from. The plan recommendations, again, came during and were accepted in 2017. We worked with that resident-led steering committee with a short list of projects, and then from there came to the project ideas that we want to push forward, which will be a residential home retrofit. All right. More information, again, at a high level is presented on page 4, giving information, again, just on the program implementation details. Again, we're working with $6 million available for these projects. The types of projects initially that were explored were bioswales, cisterns, constructed wetlands, all again to respond to flood remediation. Pertinent details on page 5 talk about Rain Ready Calumet in its totality. Again, plans being accepted in 2017. We've got implementation in the way of steering committee prioritization all through 2023. 2024 is design, and with most construction for Dolton, most construction would kick off in 2025. And we've got to have funds obligated by the end of this year, with construction and maintenance being able to be extended throughout 2026. All right. In relation to the residential retrofit program, there would be twofold goals. There would be to prevent basement backups by addressing unsafe and unsanitary conditions, and then to reduce urban flooding in general. Ideally, this is the start of a conversation around responding to, again, outdated infrastructure and working to implement these elements in a system. It's not going to be a catch-all. It's not going to completely solve the issue of flooding within the community. But again, these elements work best within a system, and it is a start to a response. On pages 7 and 8, you can see the timeline that we're working with. Again, we are in the program design phase, and we will be looking to pursue permits into 2025 with design and construction at the earliest starting potentially this fall, but at the latest spring of next year. All right. And again, just some other information on page 8 in regards to the program design and just where we are. And I'm happy to take any questions. That's what we got.
Okay, so I'm sorry to hear of the challenges that we've had so far getting this underway. I know Clerk Key have been working pretty closely as well. I would ask the board if there's no opposition that we extend our legislative attorney to try to connect and see if there's ways that we can enforce or make this available, because I think we know about the flooding challenges in Dolton, and we want to make sure that moves forward. So if that's something that we can do, or if there's other, I guess maybe I want to ask from you if there are any other things that we can do to assist in making this a smoother process or for implementation.
Well, I'm thankful for the opportunity to speak and connect with residents. The main thing is, again, just getting the word out about the program. We are hoping that this turns into a proof of concept for these types of elements for communities across the Southland.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other comment? I just took the mic from you, Clerk. I'm sorry. Any other comments from board members? Well, no, thank you for the presentation. We're going to get rain ready here somewhat, as soon as humanly possible.
Thank you so much.
And as Brandon mentioned, there are several steering committee members here. And when we do public comment, I would like you guys to definitely come up and share your experience regarding the program, because you've been involved for several years. Thank you. Oh, well, you can come up now. Donna, would you like to come up now? And anyone else, if you guys can just line up behind Donna, they can give you their experience of how they've been involved with this program.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Donna Gray, and we have been involved with the steering committee since 2017. I think it is so very important that we bring this to our community to stop some of the flooding that we have. Some people's backyards are just immersed with water. They've had to have basements redone, and I think that not having our support from our mayor to have this $6 million project done to alleviate some of the water is just really terrible. We are trying to push forward with getting this done. We're focusing mostly on homes because they're the ones that have the worst problems. So with that being said, we've done some voting, okay, on different projects and different initiatives, and we decided that we would rather have the homeowners of Dolton benefit from this. So like Brandon said, we are looking forward to pushing this agenda. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Valerie Stubbs, a 22-year resident in the village of Dolton, and I think it's deplorable that the village would not participate in this program because some money beats no money. And we definitely need this in order to help our infrastructure. I think it was last June, we had a lot of flooding, and they bring a lot of things to the table, even how to plant shrubbery to soak up some of that water. And I was so blessed that I didn't get any water. And I was thinking about taking my bushes up in the front, and I learned so much from Brandon and the other members of the committee. And I'm gonna leave my bushes there because they was able to absorb a lot of the water, and I didn't get any water in my house. And I thank the trustees that wanna get on board with this program. You know, I'm just praying for this village. Thank you.
Okay, and I believe that concludes the communications for the clerk. So we're going to move on. No old business at this time. Next up is next up is new business. First up is Trustee Belcher. You have the first two items. One is a discussion of fountain cleanup and discussion on RFP for accounting firm. I'll yield the floor.
Good evening, everyone. I put the discussion of the fountain cleanup back on the agenda. It was placed on the agenda sometime in 2023. I had asked to put it on. We have a fountain over on Park Street that everybody knows. They used to do jazz at the fountain, and it was a really nice time. And they spent a lot of money on that fountain when it was first put up. And I see that all of these other activities are going on in the community, but they're only based on when one particular person can be there. And I've asked before in reference to getting the fountain cleaned back up and getting it working so we can, and I'm asking now and for this, and I'll put it on the agenda for April, but so they can start cleaning it up. So maybe by June, we can move forward with trying to have something at the fountain again where everyone is inclusive to come and not selected residents. I've asked for this before, so I'm gonna just put it, hopefully it'll go, make it to the agenda that the fountain is cleaned up. And I know that everything costs us money, so we have to make sure that we can try to implement it, but getting it cleaned up and turned back on so we can start utilizing that space over there. Because I think that when it was jazz at the fountain, it was a more intimate setting and community setting where people actually enjoyed it and came out to fellowship. It was on Wednesdays, right? So maybe in future meetings we can come up with a date if it's something that the community would like to entertain again. But I just think that we have a lot of beautiful things in the community. We need to make sure that they're taken care of and utilize them to our ability. Anybody have any question?
I got one thing. Just one thing, when Trustee Belcher brought it up before, I did speak to someone regarding the repairs. And back then, I think when she first brought it up, the repairs were only $14,000. So I'm sure we can come up with $14,000 when we paid over $2 million for an ice skating rink that no one is able to utilize. Well, 1.3 million. Let me take that back before I be called, you know. But 1.3 million on a facility that's ours that we can't utilize. So 14,000 is peanuts compared to the 1.3 million. But the repair cost back then was $14,000 just to have that fountain repaired, up and working. So hopefully next month that we can have this put back on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, and yes, of course, I'm in agreement. I also want to be mindful or remind the community the purpose of this meeting is that these are items that we are seeking. Many times we come to the board meeting and you'll see no items from the board on the agenda. So this is kind of just demonstrates that these are items that, assuming we have a consensus, we are attempting to move forward for a formal vote. As the next meeting comes, we will see how many of them actually make it.
So I'm just asking for a consensus to move this to the voting meeting.
You agree? Yes. Yep, you got it.
All right, thank you. The next item that I have is a RFP for a new accounting firm. And the reason that I requested to put this on the agenda is because everyone sees what's been going on in reference to our community, reference to us asking questions, reference to us getting audits. And this is the financial state of our community. And it is very important. When I first got on the board, our representative that comes from the accounting firm used to send us a breakdown every month of how the items are being billed and what they utilize them for. I believe, and I'm just gonna say, I believe that they were instructed not to pass that information along to us anymore. But they bill us $34,000 to $38,000 every month. The reason that when they first was doing it is because we did not have a finance director. We have now hired a finance director that's been there 2 years that makes approximately $90,000, and we're still paying $35,000 to $40,000 a month. So meaning somebody's not doing the job. I don't know which entity is not, but somebody is not. And I just think that at this time, we need to start implementing situations where if we're not getting the information that we need to get for financial reasons, because we're the legislative body and we look over the money, if they can't provide us to us, we need to maybe look at a company that can give us that information. So I requested this before, and then of course it never made the agenda, but I am asking just for a consensus vote, and it's a discussion. These are things that's very important, so it can't happen overnight because they have been with the village, what, over 10 years or more than 10 years. So it's not something that can happen overnight, but considering the leadership and people being very on ice about about what type of information they can provide. I just think at this time we may need to look for another accounting firm that can be in the best interest of the village of Dolton. So I'm asking for a consensus to just move this forward to the voting meeting, and I know that it will probably require more discussion, but it's something that I think that needs to be brought up a few times.
Okay, thank you for that, Trustee Belcher. I'm gonna, kind of give a couple of thoughts, and then I may ask if we can reconsider looking at this at a later meeting. And my reason for that ask of reconsideration, currently the finance director is the one that's being in charge. The accounting firm reports to the finance director, and the finance director is the gatekeeper of information. So I believe there's a block in that area. And we recently, and when I say recently, this morning, won a court case that indicated, one, that the clerk key was wrongfully removed from the bank account and should be reinstated to the bank account. Part two of the case indicated that the financial information that we are not being given, the board is entitled to it. They did indicate, even that we're entitled to it, that the lawsuit should have been inclusive of it says treasurer is the actual word, which in this case is our finance director. So I believe with the court order, we may see some movement. I believe the accounting firm at this time, which I do agree, I'm in agreement. I would like for them to provide us with that information. I think it's kind of a tricky scenario, and I believe the information will be forthcoming with the proper order from the court. So that would be my thought or ask of reconsideration.
Okay. Again, this is for discussion only, and we're sort of in a trick bag again with the engineering firm. I'm sorry. We had to get a consensus for reconsideration for the county firm first? Okay, for the county firm.
So do you have any comment on that?
No.
one?
Okay,
You have any comment on this one? You have comment on this one? Okay.
So just for clarity, you're asking for a reconsideration after the finalization of the lawsuit? Okay, so he's asking for a reconsideration of finalization of our lawsuit before seeking a RFP to be put on a voting meeting for the accounting firm. I'm okay with that. Okay.
Thank you very much, Trustee Belcher. Next is item C on their discussion of RFP for the engineering firm, Trustee Tammy Brown.
Okay. And this was brought up some time ago to look into a different engineering firm. We talked about this before, and again, this is a firm that has been with the village with the previous mayor, and I'm thinking of one before him. But to take a look out and seek other engineering firms, when you go out to other municipalities and you speak to them about what's going on in their village, they're getting millions of dollars for projects. Millions of dollars. Looking at Calumet, getting ready to redo River Oaks Mall, funded with the grants that the engineering firm is getting. These guys have grant writers. We once had a grant writer separately from the engineering firm. So why not just get one engineering firm that can also write the grants and save us money? But you're talking about $13 million, $18 million, $28 million that these other municipalities are getting. We get the same $400,000, $200,000 for 8 blocks, $400,000 for 16 blocks. We get the same grants. And that's a given. It's nothing that he's going out there to get, to bring back to the village. So let's seek out and look at other engineering firms. Have them to come in, do a presentation to the residents, and let us decide on an accounting firm that we can get more bang for our buck. Engineering firm that we can get, sorry. And again, they are being charged, we are being charged $30,000 plus per month on an engineering firm that brings back the same grants year after year after year after year. We're tired of the 200,000, the 400,000. Let us get some millions of dollars that we can do some different projects here in the village of Dolton. So I thought that would be something to actually bring up. We're asking for a consensus to move forward, to have these people come out and give a presentation at one of our CAL meetings. I'm sure it's not going to be at the board meeting, trust and believe, but to have them come out at the CAL meeting and do some presentations so we all can see and ask questions of what these guys can give us for $30,000 a month. Thanks.
Any additional comments from other board members before we ask for consensus? Okay, hearing no comments, so we'll just do a quick consensus. Trustee Norwood, you okay? Trustee House, yes, I'm okay. Trustee Brown, we know where you stand. Yes. Trustee Belcher? Okay, thank you. We have consensus, so that we will ask that this be pushed forward to the next meeting agenda. Item D is just a discussion on the status of the South Suburban Land Bank, which was voted and approved by the board some time ago, I guess. Trustee Norwood.
Good evening. So as we all know, our vacancies are a concern for us. They're eyesores, and pretty much we need a resident in that home paying taxes just to make it easier for all of us. So a few years ago, the board was nice enough to allow me to have the South Suburban Land Bank on to have a discussion just to explain what it is they do and how they could be beneficial to our community, how they could help us fill the homes and make sure that they aren't no longer vacant. But we have been having a little bit of pushback from our current administration. So I'm just letting you all know that the board, they did vote for the intergovernmental agreement. We did this on December the 8th, 2021. And as of late, we have our attorneys kind of working out some things to see if legally we can get around all the red tape. And hopefully they can allow our senior trustee to kind of sign off on the things that we need to sign off to move forward. So I just want the residents to understand that I'm hearing you all. I know that there are vacancies, and we do have a plan to try to fill them. At this moment, we do have our attorneys working on things, so I will provide you with an update once our attorneys hear something. Thank you.
Thank you for that update, Trustee Norwood. Item E on here is just a discussion and an ask that from the board that we direct our legislative attorney, Olson, Stirk, Murphy, Frazier, McGrath, to seek assistance from the Illinois General Attorney under the Financially Distressed City Law. The reason for this discussion is that at this time, of course, we are still not receiving the financials. We have the court ruling that it's still going to take us a little bit of time. But overall, we are still getting a lot of past due notifications sent to us on bills with no communication and no response from the administration on what's happening. We feel that if this has been passed before one time that I'm aware of in East St. Louis, and really, it would call for the state to set up. Let me make sure I'm getting the proper term here. They will be setting up a Dolton Financial Advisory Authority, which will be overseen at the state level to monitor and make sure that the proper bills that are coming in are received, are voted on, and get paid. And I'm talking about bills that we feel are critical: our workers' compensation insurance bill, our police vehicle bills. We want to make sure all the bills that should be getting paid are being presented to the board and being voted. And at this time, that level of transparency has not been afforded to the board. So we are, the ask would be that we have our attorney inquire from the General Assembly. Ask would be that we inquire from the General Assembly that we have a distressed community, or that we seek remedy under the Financially Distressed City Law. 65 ILCS 5/8-12, and some attorney language behind it. So I'll yield to see if any board members have any comments or thoughts on this one.
I just want to state that I am in agreement with this because for the last few months, we've been begging for the financials, right? And every meeting we hear the same thing. They have the information, and the information have yet to be put on that Jumbotron. So hopefully with the court's ruling or with this being put in place, they will either put it on a Jumbotron or email it to us and provide it to us so that we can provide it to the residents, because we hear you when you all ask us questions regarding the financials, and we love to provide you with the information. So look for the Jumbotron next meeting. Hopefully they put the information on there for us.
Okay.
Just in reference to the financially distressed city law, it can be, is it based on like a certain time that we can utilize it, or once it's in effect, does it remain in effect?
The request that we, assuming board is okay, will be asking is that while this mayor is is at the helm, that the state assistant overseeing the financials of this community. That is the request. Now, as it gets to the state level, they may dive in deeper and make some different determinations, but our ask would be that during this administration and with this mayor, that we continue, and then as if and when there is an administrative change, that it could be reevaluated.
Thank you. I'm definitely in support of it, but I just want to reiterate to everyone, we are in bad shape. And as four of us sit up here to say that we're asking for help from the Illinois General Assembly to come in to make somebody give us documents that we are entitled to make financial decisions of a community is really sad. For us to have to beg to try to see if an audit has been done, which we know that if it has been done, it should have came across the board to see it. We can only say as of September of 2023 where we were. We're in March of 2024. We have no idea how much debt we're really in. But to see every day emails come to us saying, you're 7 months past due, you're 5 months past through, you're 6 months past due, makes us realize that no one is sitting here doing what they're supposed to do in reference to maintaining the finances of the village of Dolton. And that is bad. You pay for what you want to pay for, but not things that you've incurred bills for that these people are. And I said this at the last board meeting when one of the department heads said something. We had a lady there asking us for $500 from 5 months ago. $500. That lets you know what type of financial situation we're in. And the person that's overseeing it, that should be giving us, I'm even say the finance committee chairperson, Stan Brown. I'm gonna put him on blast right now, because it makes no sense that we have to ask an outside entity to come in and try to clean up our house. So I am in total support of this, and whatever legal remedy we need to do to move it faster, because y'all, it's always saying we go to the courts, and we shouldn't have to go to the courts, but when you have someone that totally disregards the law, then this is what we're left to do. So I am in total support of anything that can help better the financial stability of the village of Dolton.
I too am in agreement. Just listening to a conversation today where a vendor called Trustee Belcher when they're seeking 14,000, 13,000, 17,000? This is little money. What about the big money that we haven't paid? There are some vendors out there that we owe hundreds of thousands of dollars to that we are not paying. We got people calling us for $14,000. We got people calling us for the flashing stop signs. So I guess they'll be taken out of the ground maybe next month if they don't get their $17,000. These are little bitty things that people are calling us with, but they did the work. They need to be compensated. These people provided services to the village and they're not getting paid. When we talk about months, 9 months ago, 7 months ago, 6 months ago, people are not being paid. So if you're not paying the bills, then what are you paying? And these bills were approved by the board months ago. I just look at it as this, and you know, this is me saying this. If you're not paying the bills, then maybe you're making payroll. If you can't make payroll, then you'll pay the bills. So it's something here, the reason why we're not paying bills, because we got to make payroll. Let's come to a point where it says, hey, the bag is empty, guys. The bag is empty. The 6.9 million been coming for 8 months, and it still hasn't gotten here yet. The bag is empty. When we can't pay $14,000, the bag is empty, guys. And she said before, and I would say, my granddad used to say, we're in a mighty bad way here. And when a person don't show you the money, it's a problem. It's a problem for all of us when we can't see where our tax dollars, where we can't see them and see how they're being spent. That's a problem. We got a big problem here. And definitely, you know, everybody's on social media, the news. Somebody has to step in. And as Brittany said, who's going to save us? Somebody has to save Dolton. You see the residents out here monthly. You see the trustees. We're here. We're begging for someone to come out here and save Dolton. You know, taxes going up. She just had a referendum, what to raise your taxes. Who wants to keep putting money in the bag that you say you got, the bag is full? You're steady asking for our dollars, but you're not spending them the right way that it should be spent on this village. Again, somebody come here and hashtag save Dolton. Save Dolton. We're in a bad way. And it's a shame when you see every week somebody's saying, hey, I didn't get my $14,000. I didn't get my $17,000. I didn't get my $26,000. That's bad. That's bad. And then to go out and people see you everywhere and say, hey, aren't you from Dolton? And they laugh at me. I'm like, no, I'm from Posen. You know, it's a joke, but it's a hurting thing. It's a shameful thing to see where this village is today and where it was when I moved here 18 years ago. So again, let's save Dolton. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay. And just one point to add a little bit more clarity on this ask before we go for board consensus. This is about more than getting the financial documentation to the board members. This is because my thought is, of course, put it on the website. I don't need to get it from the administration. The residents in the community deserve that information. But this would also go beyond getting the information and making it public. This would empower the state to actually issue the check. Once it's been voted by the board, issue the check, make sure that check goes out the door. At this time, there are millions of dollars worth of checks that are just sitting on the desk, and that's why these vendors are calling. We have many vendors that have been approved by the board, and those checks, we're told every month, oh, the checks will be cut this week. And then we get a call from a vendor, something else that'll indicate that they're 3 months behind, 4 months behind, and we look up and say, we've already approved that. So this, in addition to getting the information that is needed for the community to the community, it will also enforce that behind the scenes, those kind of games can't be played. So that way there could be confidence that when a bill is voted and approved, that check is going to become, and that will be coming, and it will be a monitoring of the bank account to make sure there's enough money in the bank. So this, we feel, is just a firmer stance if we're able to get it accomplished, to make sure that we're doing things financially sound. So having said that, I'm going to ask for a consensus to give that direction to our legislative council, Trustee Norwood, Trustee Brown, and Trustee Belcher. Yes. Okay, and yes, I'm in agreement with that as well. Item F on here, and this one is a discussion on the status of the Board of Trustees inquiry to the mayor's office seeking any contract hiring an independent investigator or recent allegations made about an incident that occurred in Las Vegas, any invoices and receipts of payments made to that independent investigator, and any reports, findings generated by this independent investigator, if that is available. The reason that this was put on here is there are terrible allegations that many people are aware of for the Village of Dolton, and as a board member, we recognize. As a board member, oh goodness, I got to get out of that habit. As a board member, we recognize that this also comes with a lot of potential liability or cost to the residents of Dolton. The 4 board members present, I'm saying this just to make sure we have it as a matter of record. The 4 members present were not on the trip in Las Vegas, so no, this is just a matter of record. I'm serious because I think these are scathing and serious allegations. There are individuals that were on that trip, and we recognize that an investigation should have happened. In fact, it was reported that an investigation did happen. So as a board member, we feel that through transparency, if an investigation happened and the results were as it was stated, the community deserves to know that, and then that puts us in a better position on our liability. If nothing happened, we need to make sure something starts today, immediately. But this information, the board has asked for on 2 occasions and have gotten no response whatsoever. So having said that, I think that we want to just we're bringing it so that way we can give residents an update at least that we desire and we're demanding. So we're going to be again going through our legislative attorney to seek relief if we can from the county sheriff's office, FBI, or anybody that has subpoena authority to force an investigation. As at this moment, I'm left to believe that no investigation really occurred, which I think is very frightening and dangerous. So that's the reason that we brought this up to put on this agenda. Hopefully, we'll get a response at least, so we know direction. But I think the board has. We've tried to do the best we can to get information so that we can share it, and at this point, having or not having information, we feel compelled that we make sure that we at least share with the status with the community of what we think about it and what directions we're going to try to take to be responsible and make sure that we can limit our exposure as a village to a financial payment on this matter. Are there any comments from any other board members? Okay, hearing no comments, I'm going to ask if we have just for a consensus vote that we ask our attorney for more direction and to seek intervention from any agency that can enforce with subpoena authority. Trustee Norwood. Trustee Belcher. Aye. Trustee Norwood. Brown. Aye. Trustee Brown, yeah, Trustee Tammy Brown, and Trustee Jason House, yes. So having said that, that will conclude the normal order of our agenda, and we get to the best part, which is why we come here. We will have which is public comment or citizens address that we will allow for residents to come up. We recognize that people have many questions, and sometimes it goes over. I want to do a couple of housekeeping things that I did not do on the front end. So if you can bear with me, DJ Golden Groover. We want to thank him for allowing us the use of his equipment so that we can have audio that when I use it properly projects. So thank you for that. I want to thank Dolton Park District. I see the president, Cleo Jones, present here with us. We have Commissioner Willis Harris walking in. And I thank them for allowing the use of this space because we have an ongoing battle about Village Hall trying to get in there. So without their assistance in the Park District, we would have a much more difficult time hosting a meeting. So I want to thank you, along with, I have to make sure Commissioner Sandra Wells gets her acknowledgments, Commissioner Gail Towers, and Commissioner Kyle Rochelle. So having said that, we're gonna ask, we know residents have questions, we'll do our best. I'm gonna ask that we try as best as we can to keep it to 3 minutes. When the 3-minute mark occurs, I'll wave my timer, which is on the phone, just as an indicator that we've hit that mark, and just ask that everybody be as mindful as possible. You have a microphone over there, Jerome?
Okay, I got instructions to speak right into the mic. Good evening, all. I would like to ask the trustees, thank you, number one, and for that last one in regards to the Las Vegas incident. I know you're going to ask for an investigation. I'm hoping that means the administration will have nothing to do with it. But I would like to ask you, if it's possible, if you can ask while this is ongoing, that Trustee Holmes is suspended from his trustee duties pending investigation. And that's as in any, Valerie can speak to that, any law enforcement organization. If a law enforcement officer is accused of something as egregious as this, they are suspended either with or without pay pending the investigation. And I do not, and I hope the rest of you agree with me, do not want him sitting there representing me or my village. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I do want to comment to that. Yes, we are definitely seeking it, and as we mentioned, from an independent group that will have subpoena authority, which would be FBI, Cook County Sheriffs, one of those entities. It must be independent, and also I will mention something that's come up that's been brought to my attention. I hope these are rumors. I will say this emphatically. I hope these are rumors, but it's been brought to my attention that there are elected officials and other individuals that are trying to encourage the police department to issue false police statements against elected officials sitting up here before you.
That's right. That's right.
I hope that this is not correct. However, I have heard it from multiple individuals. So we are putting this out here now that we have to be really, really careful with reports, and we have to make sure we're getting independent oversight, because we see kind of the tactics that are being used right now, and we want to make sure that there is a level of independence on any investigation that go on in Dolton.
Just for, and I hate to even say courtesy, we still have to say unnamed trustee, because nope, it's alleged. So just out of respect, we still have to say whoever you may think it is, unnamed trustee, out of the respect of the investigation.
Yeah, we don't want no trustees suing the village, really. I concur with what Mr. Vaughn said, and what Jason said is true. I'm going to, as Jason said, I'm going to leave out certain details, but this piece of paper here, it's true, because this is a police report of mine. And I know certain individuals' names that are one of our elected officials in good standing. His name is not supposed to be on here. So here's my thing. There comes a time when we have to share some of our stories, not like I want to, because they already gave me enough to deal with, and believe me, I'm a big girl. I deal with it, because I move much different, and it makes no sense that I have to entertain the things that I do. But I also want to speak to the residents. Code enforcement. You all have got to start standing up when you know these tickets are listed, but what I want you all to do more than anything, because what I experienced in hearing at code enforcement today, it makes no sense. And thank God that I witnessed nobody spent a penny today in code going to that hearing court, because every ticket there, every other ticket was so meritless, it made no sense. They are harassing residents, especially residents that are getting work done on their house. They're harassing these people. They already have their things paid for. Insurance is covering something. They're getting their own dumpsters. They're keeping all of their debris on their property. So it gives them no reason to just pull up in front of their building and want to take pictures. And I didn't appreciate it, because it's not cool. And at this point right now, we need to just start standing up, plain and simple. Every time I come here, and I'm always in with, we got to keep saying Alexis Wilson's name. And y'all keep in mind that we got one more lawsuit coming. Let's not forget the taser. They done filed their lawsuit. So let's see how many receipts she gonna speak about and show on that one.
Sherry Britton, 25-year resident. And Ms. Hill, we do not have licensed or certified code enforcement officers. Just so you guys know that. So all these tickets that we're getting, I could probably say they're not valid. I mean, if they're not licensed or they're not certified, they should not be writing tickets. They should not be doing inspections. And if they come to your house for an inspection, ask them for their certification and their license. They need to give it to you. My question is, well, we talked about the unnamed sex offender being maybe put on administrative leave or whatever. What about the village administrator? He's not an elected official. I mean, it's harassment. I mean, he's not giving you guys what you need. He doesn't interact with residents. He doesn't answer emails. We need to do something to put him on administrative leave. Has he upped the keys to Village Hall? And has he even spoken to you guys about that? What's being done with that? Because we should be able to have the meetings in our Village Hall. We should not have to come here. This is great and I love it. But again, we should be able to be at Village Hall. There is no reason that the employees, I was like horrified when I watched the board meeting and when the public works superintendent, the way he spoke to Trustee Brown was just ignorant. And I mean, something has to give. I mean, she's doing us in, they're doing us in, and they're running around town. I saw a video with a supervisor from Public Works taking up signs on private property. When does it end? And I mean, I get that investigations are going on, but something has to give. And these people cannot walk around and take our money and treat us like crap.
So to answer, at this time, no, we still do not have keys to Village Hall and that access. We have, our attorney has done a follow-up request or response as recent as last week. And at this point, we will start to have to make a decision if we want to try to get injunctive relief in court, or if that's an expense that we do not want to impose on with our legal teams. We will give it this week, and then after that, as a board, we'll have to kind of start making some decisions if we want to try to direct them into court to seek injunctive relief.
Okay, so what I want is as many people as we can get together and meet me at Village Hall, and just like we demanded that Dorothy Brown leave, we need to demand that Keith Freeman leave. It's too much.
And I will comment as well on the request for the unnamed trustee. The board does not, that is anybody who is elected by the people. The board does not have authority to enforce a suspension or time off or anything like that. It would have to be their own voluntary resignation and a call from residents to saying, look, we think that in this case you should stand down, but it could not come from a board vote.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Valerie Stubbs again, 22-year residents. Thank you, board. I'm tired of fighting, but I'm gonna see this to the end. You have ordinance number 19-011, citizens address. Just like we're addressing and they're answering, this is on the books. This is what we should be able to have at a regular board meeting. It shouldn't be citizens' comment. And I'm not going to be harassed at the next board meeting because there's no state statute nowhere to say that Valerie Stubbs can't clap, or you all cannot clap. You will not shut me down, because the more you try to shut me down, Valerie Stubbs gets louder. And it's not being disrespectful. This is all about my First Amendment rights. Louis Lacey was out early this morning, stopping people, writing tickets, harassing the residents. You know, I'm like San Juan Fair, I be everywhere. And I'm looking and I'm watching, and I got paid 30 years to watch. That's what I did. I watched. And so I'm asking everybody to come out at the next board meeting, clap if you want to, because them are your First Amendment rights. And there's nothing on the board, no ordinance, am I correct, Clerk, that say that you cannot clap. And in other places, they do have, other cities, they do have ordinance to state that you cannot clap. This is not one, and these 4 trustees up here have not implemented one. These trustees up here did not take away citizens' address. This is that mayor is doing. And I'm asking that unnamed person, myself, to step down at the next board meeting. Thank you, and everybody have a great evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Nicole Scott, and I am a business owner, a nonprofit business owner here in Dolton. First, I just want to say thank you to the trustees and to the residents for your support. But I wasn't going to get up here, but I have to at least get it on record about a video that is out as far as me being exposed. The mayor put out a video talking about me not doing the required steps to get the permits and licensing that I requested. What she failed to do was talk about the ordinance that says that we're exempt if we're making repairs. And when we purchased the property, my roofer attempted to make repairs to at least just stop the water from coming in the building onto my tenants. He was given a $500 violation. And I was able to get that from him today, a copy of it today. And so we did not hear from the village until after a video came out 6 months after we had purchased the property. We had been trying to get licensing and permits. We didn't hear from them until 6 months later saying that we don't have the proper information. Well, you waited 6 months and you still not willing to work with us? You give us a letter February 2nd, and we purchased June 30th. And all this time, we have been trying to work with them. Initially, I was, in support of her programs and services for the community, because if you're gonna do something for the community, great. But when I saw what was really going on, I had to step on the other side of the fence and, join the fight. It's really wasteful time, not only wasting money, but wasteful time to have to come up and fight, get legal help just so we can serve the community. I think it's really hypocrisy. You say one thing out of your mouth, but you're doing the opposite. I don't want to hear not one more word about I support black women, because I'm black and I'm a woman, and you've done nothing but try to tear me down. But I'm a fighter. And I believe that I was called to do this, and I'm going to keep going so that not just Dolton, but the Southland, South Cook County. And yes, we need some help out here. We need some help from Cook County. We need some help from the governor's office. We need some help because this is foolishness going on out here. You can't say you for the people and programs and services that are trying to come to the community you blocking. I don't want to hear it. And Keith Freeman can never say I'm his friend. He said, oh, Dr. Scott, that's my friend. Friends don't do that. Friends don't block each other for making progress. September 18th, 1:34 in the afternoon, she was supposed to be there at 1 o'clock, but she was late. Mayor Henier came to Free Indeed Market and met with me. She looked at my drawings, she looked at my renderings, and she said, oh, I like what you're doing. I agree. Your point of contact will be Keith Freeman going forward. Well, you see how far I've gotten. And I'm tired, but I'm not that tired, because I'm going to be fighting until we can get this done. Thank you.
Dr. Scott, I just want to say, the roof wasn't leaking too much because she was in your building today getting her nails done.
Greetings, the real trustees and city government that we are. These are the people that are keeping us afloat right now. The ones that are absent are the ones that are dragging us slowly, and it's starting to accelerate, dragging us into the mud. I'm going to make a couple of suggestions. I have mentioned this before. We have an Auditor General in Illinois, and I would like to know if they're going to get into this fight, or have they been asked to get into this fight? Because it's my understanding there hasn't been an audit in this city for a couple of years at least. Is that correct? Okay.
That is correct, and that also will be part of the financially distressed movement that we discussed.
Excellent.
Oh, yep, and it was on so part of the veto override. So let me pause. I want to make sure I don't take your seconds. So we do also, on our next board meeting agenda, we've requested a vote to override the veto. The mayor did look to veto that item on the previous special meeting we had, along with a vote to veto the federal investigation resolution that the board passed. So we will be that has been requested to be placed on our next meeting agenda.
And just one thing before I get any further. If you take a look around you, you do not see the heavy law enforcement presence that is put in place at the first of the month that is run by the renegade administration and their accomplices. Because we're the good guys. We're the ones that come out when it's raining outside, it's cold outside, nobody wants to come out. And you know my old ass want to be laid up somewhere. I mean, seriously. But I just cannot do it. We have to fight this. We have to. I don't see any other way to do it. And there's one thing that really need to get into. We have not just unqualified code inspectors. We have unqualified department heads damn near at every position that Dolton has. Unqualified big time, and how they can control our village like this, they're using law enforcement as their muscle. That's why we're here when we should be in our city hall. We're begging for our documents. These are our documents. They do not belong to the administration to auction off at her private, what do you call it, thing she does, the podcast. She comes into our city hall to ask us to go to her podcast when this is our information that she's selling illegally on city time. And that needs to be investigated. Our rights are being violated in so many different ways. And before I get much further, I got to really thank the Power District again. I know y'all get sick of me hearing this. I'm not so sick of me saying this, but we need to get on the fact that they are denying the Park District grants they've already been granting, not denying the grants themselves, but denying the permits to get the work done for the children that she always claims that she loves so much. I just love my babies, but she's blocking the very permits, and the Park District is primarily for children. Who makes war on children for their own personal benefit? That is one of the most disgusting, narcissistic things I ever saw in my life. I'm sorry, I get a little more long-winded. I'll get to the rest of this list in the next couple hours.
Okay, I apologize. One of the residents wanted me to come back up and mention this. On the referendum, you saw that there was a question about having another food pantry in Thornton Township. Why? Why? That is a direct jab at Free Indeed Market that, from what I understand, she was already saying was hers. That's kind of interesting. And if you've seen the video of the water coming into the tenant, one, because we weren't given the opportunity to repair it, and two, he's being evicted. And so he's a disgruntled tenant because he doesn't want to pay his rent, so he got to go. So of course she's going to go to him and say, hey, you know, what's the problem? And so, thank you.
On a lighter note, the Park District is having an egg hunt, totally cracked egg straw. Okay, the egg hunt is going to be at the Park District, 721 Eagle Street in Dolton. To register in advance, you go to www.doltonparkdistrict.org. For more information, 708-841-2111. Please bring a camera, be on time. After the hunts, the children find that special eggs will receive their own spring baskets, pre-filled with treats and goodies. It is that time of year again when the spring bunny will make its annual visit to Dolton Park. The children will hunt for the special eggs, meet the spring bunny, decorate their own spring bag, and much more. Please come out, as I say, March 30th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Easter bag decorating will begin at 11. The hunt will follow promptly at 12 p.m. sharp. This is for pre-K to 6th grade. See you guys there with your kiddies.
Thank you very much.
I got my 3 minutes.
I'm good, the lovely young lady.
Come on, go ahead.
I just have some oh, by the way, I've been a resident for over, I want to say 25 years. My question is, I want to know specifically who is requesting the documents, the financial documents from the mayor's office? Which entity?
So are you saying who currently is, or who are we requesting to do it?
I know we filed a motion, not a motion, but a lawsuit or whatever, or request from some
we filed a
legal body.
So right now it will be the court to enforce the orders that that we will be given. So currently we won. The judgment said that the board is entitled to it. However, we need to include the treasurer, which is our finance director.
So what did it come from the Illinois Attorney General or?
No, that came from the circuit court, I believe. Is that federal? The circuit court.
Circuit court. All right. How much longer do they have to give you those documents? What's the time frame?
We have to get the official order once it includes the treasurer. We are anticipating that's probably about a 2-month process.
2 months.
Probably 2 months. However, we with them acknowledging that the clerk should be on the bank account, we will get access to banking information virtually within a week's time is what we're anticipating. And if we get the resistance that we conventionally do, now we'll have a court order. We could go back into court and they can have contempt of court for anybody not following that process.
Okay, so attempt of court. So that's the consequences if they do not give you?
Correct.
And what exactly does that look like?
That leaves it up to the judge's discretion. That could be a fine to any individual that violates it. It could be time in jail should you violate a court order. So it'll be similar to any other court order that's issued. If you get a court order saying show up to a deposition and you don't show up, the judge can use their discretion on how stiff they want to do a punishment.
Okay. And then my last, I don't know how much time I have right now, but.
I took some of it. You're at 2:12, but I took some of it too.
Okay. The only thing I just want to say is, with all the things that's been happening in the political arena, with all the way up to the president, all the stuff that's been happening over years, what's happening here in our community, this is only showing us, it's only present in our lives to teach us. So as angry as we can get, about the situation, we have to look at ourselves and say, what did we do so that we don't run across this again? My thing that when I look at myself in the mirror is, I voted for her. And I voted for her because she was a black woman. And she was around that Kamala Harris era, thinking that I could trust. So, and I believe, and a number of people that I know did the same thing. So I say to us, and I've heard it said, because I've never watched so many YouTube videos in the last 2 months, it's crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna just say this. I've heard someone say, everyone who is skin folks ain't kin folks. So we really need to stop that whole thing. We need to really start to look at everyone. Don't just look at them because they're black. Look at their credentials, determine whether or not, everybody want to call me when I'm up here, but look at their credentials and determine, what are these individuals qualified? Because I made that mistake myself. Okay? All right.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Former trustee Edward Steve. I'd like to, again, thank the Board of Trustees for conducting this professional, smooth, calm meeting, which we're not used to in the Village of Dolton over the last 12 years. Thank you so much. I want to definitely harp on the fact that when you have a person in leadership that doesn't mind lying smoothly, she got on court on Roland Morton and said, I won 25 court cases. It hasn't been 25 court cases. When that type of level of lies, you're misleading people intentionally. That's something wrong with you internally. They won the case today about putting us back on the bank account, putting the trustees back on the bank, not the clerk. She said that they get everything. They get everything. It's a lie. It's a lie, and it's scary that you can lie like that about things. And it's happened. People believe it. People believe it. Well, they say the mayor said it. And you got to question everything. When somebody lies like that, you got to question everything that comes out of their mouth. When you tell one lie, that makes all your truths questionable. Everything you said questionable. So trustees keep fighting. Residents keep showing up and coming up and speaking yourself, speaking your voice, let your voice be heard, and come to the next board meeting. People need to hear, the residents need to hear, and YouTube is definitely on fire right now with Dolton. Every time I scroll on YouTube, it pops up. So thank you again. Thank you so much.
Before Kiana and Jason take over, let me ask you guys a question. The chief or deputy chief or whatever he is says that if we clap and if we're disorderly, they're going to call the meeting. Well, if Valerie claps, I clap, and if everybody bands together, guess what? Even the trustees, there's no quorum, we disrupt our meeting. If they try to take you out of there, I need to go with you. You need to go with me. We need to all get up and leave. Everybody wants to know what we gonna do? We got to start showing that we're sick of the bullshit.
Thank you. All right. So citizens address is complete. Oh, look at y'all. Y'all just try to.
This microphone, I don't need a microphone. I've been a resident for over 33 years. We're going on 33 years.
Go ahead, just talk in it. Go ahead.
Over 33 years. With everything that's going on in Dolton right now, I'm really considering selling my home. A place where my daughter, when she went off to college, she says, Mom, don't go. I like coming home, and everybody on Parkside Drive knows me. That's messed up. Our neighbors, when COVID hit, we decided that we were going to make our block our resort. Each of us did different things to make home beautiful so that we were together, we were locked in. And now we've done that, invested our money, invested our time, our stuff paid for. And then we have this person, oh my goodness, with all of her allegations. I'm embarrassed to say where I'm from. And I use the microphone and talk about, it's embarrassing. And it's a shame that someone that sat as a trustee, who was a disruptor, even when times she should not have been. She showed us who she was. It was just all that we had to choose from. So at this point, you have to decide, are you going to put your hats in and allow yourself to be a choice at some point? I'm thinking about it. I don't want to wear the hat, but I may have to sell my house if I don't. So, yes, I will clap with you. I will stand with you. I have no problem with that. I'm tired, and I have a right to be. I've been here for over 30 years, yes, and I'm only 21. Thank you all.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say about that, but yeah, I'll be there.
Good evening. I just want to read something from a little book that I found one day. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. There's another little excerpt from a book, that same book, that says, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. Keep clapping, keep taking it by force, keep doing what you're doing. Please keep doing what you're doing. I started binge watching these meetings last summer, and it was like Empire on Fox or something like that. And I appreciated it because it gave me something to look at. But I just wanted to commend all of you all for being so patient. For Trustee House, I want to give, if I had a plaque, I would give you Calmest Black Guy of the Year award, because I was at home getting riled up, wondering how, I'm like, there must be something going on. So how is he keeping a level here? But in government, you have to. But I would like to say for the residents, take it by force. This is your home. This is your money. I just moved out here, and I'm spending money, and I'm upset. But this is your place. So I don't know if you ever seen Batman Dark Knight Rises, but you know, you might have to do some things that benefit you. I'm serious, because coming from Chicago and seeing what happens on the South Side and being an audio engineer, and I can't do any concerts out in Dolton or in South Holland, but we can only do them in Niles, Batavia, Glendale Heights, Winnetka. I love going up north, but I hate driving up there. I would love to do these events out here, but I'm understanding when you're dealing with chambers of commerce, when you're dealing with mayors and trustees, you have to go right about the proper procedure. But take it by force, because the heaven, it suffers violence, and we're suffering it here, so do what you got to do. Thank you.
Just an announcement, I forgot. Tomorrow is Chat and Chew here in this location for the seniors. Dolton Park District is having Chat and Chew tomorrow from 11 to 1. So any seniors that's available, please support the Park District. It'll be in this room. I'm sorry, I forgot about it.
All right, and before asking for a motion to adjourn, I want to pause, because I guess with everything going on, it's easy to kind of focus on it. I do want to remind the community, and I'll say, for as frustrated as I am on one side, equally as encouraged. I'm encouraged to see everybody coming out and showing and communicating and talking and working with each other. Some of the things on the agenda I think were really, really critical and important, that we show that there is a path forward, and we got shovel-ready projects. Trustee Norwood talked about the housing program. We can get houses back on the tax rolls immediately. It's already in place. We just need to turn that key. No pun intended, clerk key. Mentioned the Rain Ready program, where they came and talked to us about $6 million that can go towards our infrastructure and help to increase the flooding in the sewers and the things that we all know is desperately needed. Dr. Nicole Scott has a vision that is immaculate, and all we have to do is partner and be good partners. And we don't have to raise our taxes to do it. She's doing it out of a passion. We got this park district here who has been in this amazing building. They're getting turned down for $600,000, and they got $600,000 that for improvements of our parks. Turnkey. It's right. Cleo, when you ready to get that project started? Now. Right now. So I'm saying that because it gets so easy to kind of talk about it, but as a board, we see a path forward. We see things that we can do. Yes, we have to stand up and we got to do the fight, but we also have to remember there's a lot of things that are going on. And this board right here, the clerk, as well as with partnerships, we're trying to make sure that as soon as that page turns, we got shovel-ready projects ready to go for the benefit of the residents of Dolton. So thank everybody for coming out. At this time, I'm going to see if I can take a motion for adjourn. Well, I'll make the motion to adjourn. Can I get a hearing that motion in second? Clerk, I'll ask for a roll call.
Trustee Norwood?
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Belcher?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 7:58 p.m.